Hello YouTube, so a patch came out the other day and had a lot of changes in it. But in this video we're going to focus on the TX-2 Emperor pistol for the Terran Republic. Previously I'd given this weapon a very negative review, but now it's been patched. This device has been modified, so I'm going to review it again. The new TX-2 Emperor is best compared to two pistols, the TX-1 Repeater and the Vanu Beamer. Now the main change done in this patch was to increase the weapon's damage, which is now at 167 max, the same damage as the Beamer. It kills in 6 shots to the torso, 3 to the head, 4th of nanoweave. Very similar to the Beamer. It's basically the TR version of the Beamer. In comparison to the Beamer, you get 4 extra shots, faster projectile velocity, about the same accuracy in nearly every stat, but it has bullet drop. According to the chart I looked at, the Beamer has about a 12.5% faster fire rate. I did a side-by-side comparison for how long it took to fire 17 rounds, the magazine size of the Beamer, and I can confirm that this is true. So, the pistol is a Beamer with a lower fire rate, more ammunition, bullet drop, and faster projectile speed. The weapon's also a little bit more accurate than the Beamer, but only to a very marginal degree. Most of the stats are completely identical, and the biggest difference comes when crouch-walk hip firing. Like that'll ever happen. You could argue that the TX-2 Emperor is better than the Beamer because bullet drop on a pistol doesn't seem like a big deal to me. So with that negated, you're looking at 12.5% fire rate lost for 4 extra rounds and 15% projectile speed. The trade isn't particularly unfair, but if it's better or not will depend on your personal tastes. Do you like the fire rate more? Maybe the Beamer's better for you. But the weapon is a side grade to the Beamer. That's the best description of what the TX-2 Emperor actually is. So, how does this relate to the default TR pistol, the Repeater, and should you choose the Emperor as an alternative as a TR player? Maybe. Let's look at the default TR pistol for a moment. Same magazine capacity, dramatically higher fire rate, most of its important accuracy stats are worse, and it does less damage, but it fires over twice as fast and fires in burst mode. Here we have to consider the stylistic difference. The Repeater is probably the best pistol for use at very close range when the accuracy isn't such a big deal. The Repeater is basically a miniature shotgun. It's for when you expect to pull it on an enemy who is up close and probably already shooting at you, and it's a good pistol for people who like to fight close quarters. The cost of using the Repeater is that once your enemy is outside of shotgun range, you'll find yourself disadvantaged. When coming across targets at longer ranges, the TX-2 Emperor will get you some kills that you otherwise may not have had due to the inaccuracy of the Repeater. However, that's not because the Emperor is particularly good, it's because it's just better than the Repeater at ranged fights. But longer range fights are the Repeater's staple weakness, so that's not saying very much. Just the same, the TX-2 Emperor will cost you kills at close range that you otherwise would have had secured had you a Repeater instead of the Emperor. It's basically a trade-off. Do you want a little more long-range killing power at the cost of your short-range advantage? That'll depend on your playstyle, however, you'll have to consider what you're being asked to give up. At close range, I'd argue that the Repeater is the best, or one of the best, pistols in the game, and outside of super close range, I'm personally much more fond of the mag shot. I still think that the mag shot would win against the Emperor, so it's going to come down to just how much you want a little extra range power. You'll get some extra range power, sure, but it's not on the level of the mag shot. Let's look at the stats. The mag shot is 3 to the head and 5 to the torso by default, 1 nanoweave bumps that up to 6. It's more accurate than the Emperor when aimed down the sights and in some hipfire categories, but the Emperor is more accurate when crouch fired from the hip while moving, which I still don't think should happen very often. It has 14.5% lower fire rate, but does a little over 20% extra damage. At longer range fights, your TX-2 Emperor will still be outclassed by the mag shot, and I'd argue the Vanu Manticore as well. My conclusion on the TX-2 Emperor isn't really a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it's more of a meh. The weapon can have high subjective value to someone who doesn't like the Repeater and wants a semi-automatic pistol that hits harder and is more valid at range and is willing to trade away the Repeater's benefits, despite the Emperor not being as good as some other faction weapons. I can see someone who doesn't like close quarters or doesn't like burst pistols trading the TX-1 in for the Emperor, but that's going to be because the person dislikes the TX-1, not because the Emperor is particularly good. On the other hand, that's considering trading the TX-1's benefits, which you might not use for your playstyle. The gun isn't terrible either, so if you're a fan of the Beamer and that specific set of stats appeals to you, then maybe the Emperor is a good pistol for you. That's going to come down to your style, though. Thank you for watching my review of the TX-2 Emperor. Hopefully the information will be useful in selecting your sidearm. I'll see you next time, YouTube.